And here we go. All right, right off the bat here, we're going to see them do a quick trick called a scan dash. What that is that gives them extra speed momentum from their side speed here. In this game, the side speed is not capped, so you can actually, if you were able to do so, you could go as fast as you wanted to sideways. But scan dash gives you that extra boost that you need to get up there to get that space jump first, which we have a missile, which gets them instant access to the artifact temple here, which is great early access to be able to see those artifact hints and be able to kind of plan your routing out, so to speak, here. Pan having a little trouble up there, but finally getting it here and grabbing their missile as well. So see on Bash's side, the longest door ever. This door takes an immensely long time to open up due to the simple loading of the disc, actually, of the game. All right. Oh, a grapple beam to kick us off here. First progressional item potential. All right, Bash got his 6 scans in. There are 6 artifacts to collect in this randomizer tournament in order to activate Ridley and make him available so that you can get to the impact crater. In the vanilla version of the game, you have actually 12 of them, but in this version, or in the randomizer, you can actually pick how many you want to make it active. You can actually even pick 0 if you wanted to, but for our logic settings, we decided to go with 6. All right, here's our checks. Main Plaza, Watery Hall, Biohazard Containment, oof, a Burn Dome, and what was that, Processing Center Access? That is the worst one, ouch. That means OP is required, which is the one of the last bosses you have to fight. So 2 Main Plaza, Watery Hall, and then it got worse from there pretty much. You got Biohazard Containment, which is going to require super missiles in order to acquire that one. So we're going to be on the lookout for super missiles. And then Omega Pirate is also required, so X-Ray is going to be a required thing in this run as well. On top of all the normal requirements, such as the beams, and the Phazon suit, of course, and then anything else you need to traverse through those. Oh, looky there! We found ourselves an ice beam. It's nice. It's a nice. All right, they're both taking the same routing here. Grabbing that first item down here, just past Root Cave. Which is the right thing to do at this point. Grabbing those missiles nice and early gets them that item, because that could be Morph Ball, and that makes it so it's not, you don't have to come back here. All right, we're heading into Chozo now on Bash's side, and Pan is right behind. One of the things you see them do a whole bunch here, for those that have not watched this before or are newer to watching these anyways, especially speedruns of this particular game, is that they're jumping around and looking at the ground and doing all this kind of weird movement. And what that actually they're doing is, it's called a bunny hop, and it kind of gives them a little more speed. And they hold down the R button, and that allows them to maintain their momentum and gain a little bit at the same time. They'll do that a whole bunch until they get the Morph Ball and Boost Ball potentially, and then you'll see a whole bunch of Boost Balls. Didn't get a good look at what was in there. I believe that was an energy tank or a missile there. Or was that a power bomb expansion? Ooh, it's a power bomb expansion. There we go. So, ordinarily, you're not going to, Bash knows the trick to get out of here, because, he does this all the time, of course. But Oh, he did activate the cutscene. But ordinarily you would need the morph ball to get out of this area, but he's going to do a neat little trick here to get out of here using the scan dash that I talked about. Meanwhile, Pan is actually taking a little bit of diversion here and going to head towards the Hive Totem first. Just an energy tank up top there in the ruined, I believe that's the ruined gallery. Or that maybe that's the ruined nursery. I don't remember which one. Everything in Chozo here is ruined, of course, because as you can see, things are falling. All right, so Bash gets out of there with his power bomb in hand, which is nice at this point because they're going to probably run into the morph ball here pretty shortly, or space jump. And as you saw on Pan's screen there, he did a nice dash to skip the actual fight there that normally occurs at the Hive Totem there. So that way you don't have to fight it, there's no cutscenes, and you can grab the item and go. The one issue about it, if you ever have to come back through that room, is you just have to remember that trigger for that fight is actually there still. So you definitely have to avoid the bridge each time you come through. Oh, and Bash runs out of missiles, so he's got to go back here and hopefully grab one or two. Unfortunately, not getting any drops. I don't think those light bugs can actually drop any. I'm not sure what those are called, actually. But so he grabs his morph ball. Can't go in the door there, so he's going to have to backtrack. Pan, meanwhile, is heading over to the vault. Looks like a various suit. So bombs are going to be going to have to come back here with bombs to get that. And Pan goes ahead and grabs an artifact here. Well, Bash is still unfortunately looking for that missile drop. There we go. We just got it. So we'll head back, and he'll grab his two. I believe there were just missile packs down there. Pan is heading out here, heading back. It looks like he's probably going to head back towards the crash site and get what was behind the ship, which I don't remember if either of them looked at, but I would assume they did. I didn't see it, sadly. I was talking about other things at that point. Oh, it's space jump. Okay. Well, that is definitely important, so this is definitely the good play to do, because you're going to need that. Thank you, chat, for pointing that out. Alright, there's our space jump on Pan's side, and we're going to head over to the crash frigate here to do a quick little trick to get this item early. There's multiple ways you can do it. We'll see how Pan does it here. There's a scan dash, there's some slope jumps underneath the water, all kinds of ways you can. Just a quick scan dash, and it's an energy tank for that. So that's a nice little early energy tank, because once you get to Magmoor, things start to intensify a little bit, and not having any energy tanks can be a little. Alright, Bash sees the news about the Varia suit and heads out to grab his artifact here as well. And we'll probably do the same thing that Pan just did and head towards and grab that space jump and grab his energy tank potentially. So while we got a little bit of time here, let's talk about predictions. Let's talk about the Phazon suit. Is that going to be our what we like to call our troll item? Is that what's going to be our go mode item? We're looking like THK is saying a vanilla phase on. Okay, all right. That's one way. I mean, we already do have to do OP, so you're being kind of nice at that point, I think. Got a Thardus phase on. That would be nice, huh? All right, let's see what we got at the top here of Root Cave as Pan makes his way on the invisible platforms. Oh, a boost ball. Okay, that's a good thing. Now we're gonna see him start kind of going a little bit faster in the boost in their morph. That also means that we're gonna probably run into X-ray here shortly. As I was mentioning about the invisible platforms there, it is logically required to have the X-ray visor to get those. Even though you can make your way up there without it, you know, as long as you know where those platforms are. By logic, the X-ray visor is required for that boost ball. So our runners know that, and they'll be on the hunt for that at this point to know that that's probably coming up shortly. Some talks about Thardus having plasma as well. Okay, that's a possibility. All right. I mean, how much do we want to really troll these guys today, huh? Pan picks up the second artifact, doing a nice little scan dash off the tree there, and that's nice. Heading over towards the ruined shrine here again. Gonna grab that power bomb and open up the little bomb slot down here, which is you can do with the power bomb, of course. And there's our vanilla, or not vanilla, I should say, but our normal bombs for the morph ball there. So you'll see Pan just snope out of this fight and head up to the top on a nice little standable terrain here to pick up the gravity suit. So now we have access to both suits. And, wow, gravity suit. Nice and... So we could have some frigate things in the near future here. Alright, so Bash is heading up the elevator. Right back to Chozo here. Gonna go ahead and probably do the same thing that Pan just did. Grab their bombs and their gravity suit as well. And then most likely head over and grab that Varia right away as well. Oh, another energy tank here, and one of the ruined rooms. Again, I don't remember which one this. I believe this is gallery? Question mark. Yeah, this is, as Diggle here is kind of pointing out in chat, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of early items. This is really opening the seed wide open at this point. They have access to quite a bit right. Alright, Bash does pick up that gravity and his bombs as well, and is heading towards that various suit, of course. So just behind, catching up pretty quick actually on Pan. Opted to go for that E-Tank. Not a bad idea, considering you didn't know that the one is in the ruined gallery. We'll be still getting that third one, I'm sure, but... Alright, and here's our various suit for Pan. And we'll see probably maybe heading towards Magma, or I'm sorry, Magmoor at this point. Potentially, but we still do have to get the charge beam. Okay, well, maybe not going. That's okay. Has everything needs at this point, so, you know, the only thing not doing charge right now would be beneficial would be potentially finding the spider ball and coming back for Dynamo, not having to come back for Dynamo a second time. But yes, as Chad is pointing out here, we have access to Magma Pool as well. Chat wants to see Chargeless Exo. If for those that don't know it, that's kind of a pain. All right, let's see what we get on Pan's side here as he heads into the watery hole, or wow, would you look at that? It's a vanilla charge beam. Just kidding. It's actually supposed to be vanilla. We, in the tournament settings here, we make it so that charge is always... Alright, so Pan does pick up their vanilla charge beam, and is going to check what's under here. Oh, that's our... Oh, that's right, we had one here, so that's our third artifact. Pan here, determining where the other bad news is going to come in, and they see that PCA probably going, oh... Alright, Pan gonna head towards Burn Dome at this point to pick up that that next artifact as well. And Tango with the famous Zoid. And Bash also here in Watering Hall picking up that artifact and their charge beam as well. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. You could say I'm burning with anticipation to see what Zoid has. Oh, simultaneous boss fights. Let's go. Synchronized Zoid. Now, if only they could kill him at the same time. And Zoid coughs up the usual missile. Yeah, Zoid fights, as THK is in chat is pointing out, that was actually a good fight because you could always tell because of the music. If the music ends up starting to loop around, basically the top of it, which becomes vulnerable, is completely random as far as when he's going to be vulnerable. So a good sequence and good random number generation there is when the music doesn't actually fully loop. All right, Pan gets the puzzle finished here. It's a tough puzzle, and I give him credit. That was beyond me. Wow. I didn't know what to do there. And Bash is right behind. All right, we got a missile underneath there in Furnace. And Pan is going to opt out and head probably towards maybe do Flagger at this point. We'll see. Depending on, because they want to get back to go to Magmoor at this point, I'm guessing. So you'd have to go all the way around to get it from the front side. But if you go through go through killing Flagra, it gives you a check or two, and also gets you right there as well. So we'll see which path he decides. All right, looking like we're skipping Flagra for now. Maybe just doing a magma pull. All right, Bash also opting out of jumping up to the furnace and checking that item. And here we are in Magma Pool. Collecting a nice energy tank. Question in chat, has anyone done X-Rayless Essence? And I can guarantee that somebody has. At 6 rounds in, that's bound to happen at least once or twice, I'm sure. All right, Bash picks up his energy tank, heads back towards the same direction here. We're probably going to see him head back to Magmoor at this point, and probably head in from the backside, just the same as Pan, I'm guessing. Oh, Bash is going to surprise us here and take a turn around. Head back towards what potentially could be flat. Oh yeah, here comes Flagra. First divergence. Well, major divergence at least. Oh, and we get an audio switch over to Bash here. So we'll get to hear that nice Flagra music. Meanwhile, Pan making his way to Magmoor. So we'll get some new checks there as well. Alright, so our first, the way Flagra works here is normally you have to go in and knock Flagra down and knock all of his little things up there that are giving him light and power, and then come in here and bomb these bomb slots, and each one does a quarter of his life. But what you'll see Bash here do is just jump on top and bomb it from the outside, and we completely skip all of the cutscenes, or not the cutscenes, but the having to knock down the little light givers there, and pretty much most of the fight. As you see, Flagger gets angry when you do this, so he starts swiping at you. And swiper no swiping. Oh boy, yes. Yes, we have that kind of reference here. So he's finishing up that fight. It looked like we had a missile underneath the tunnel there on Pan's side. So you'll see Pan do a couple quick dashes here to get up to the... and probably head into the Warrior Shrine right away. And down goes Flagra. Kind of looks like a missile on Bash's side there. You can kind of get a peek at it as this cutscene is happening, but couldn't really... Oh, and there's our flamethrower with Pan. Alright, yes, we got a missile on Bash's side. And as the meme points out in chat here, we got a valid run from Pan. Alright, Bash is going to make the gamble here that there's something at early wild. You'll see him doing what's called an infinite bomb jump here against the... in kind of the glitched part of this wall to maintain... to slow his descent rate and keep bombing upward. And what he did that for is there's a trigger just below your normal spot where you can't jump to in order to trigger this room to change its layer from the dead Flagra and activate the ghost fight here. So he's activated the ghost early, and this is called the early wild. So you'll see him fight some. Meanwhile, on Pan's side, we're getting the Triclops checks here, the early Magmoor checks out of the way. So far, I haven't seen anything of any value, other than the flamethrower, of course. Naturally, that's really important. Bash is making quick work of these ghosts here, while by stun locking them, actually. What a stun lock does is basically you keep knocking them backwards. Oh, he triggered the 30-second long wait to watch that guy die. So if you kill him on the right frame, basically, he will just kind of stand there until he disappears. Sadly, it does cost a little bit of time, but also he's not rewarded with anything making that gamble either, so sadly just missiles there after that. So Pan also finding some more missiles at Lava Lake and heading back towards Phendrana at this point. And we'll see what we have in Iceland. Alright, Bash entering Magmoor for the first time. We'll see if he picks up his flamethrower. It's not required to pick up at this point. We'll see if he validates. Another missile here on Pan's side, and the bomb, the double bomb jump. And into Phendrana we go. And Vanilla Wave is definitely possible at this point. I'm hoping to see it at the Boost Ball location. All right, Pan gonna go ahead and hop up here to Ice Ruins East, I believe, and check out what's in that area. Oh, wait, we're doing some scan dashes. He's tricking me. Well, Bash is heading back through Triclops Pit here, and gonna head towards Phendrana shortly as well. All right, here we go. We're heading down towards the Phendrana Canyon, where the Boost Ball normally is, where Pan will likely pick up his Wave Beam commentator blessing. Oh, it's a spider. So that can be both a good thing and a bad thing at this point. As pointed out by chat, Wave could be in Dynamo at this point. Which would make them go all the way back there to pick that up. Didn't get a good look at what was down underneath there in the ice. It's hard to see on the restream. And I think Pan also got knocked off as he was trying to look at it by our friend the Snow Cone. Oh, there's a vanilla power bomb expansion. Okay. All right, and Bash looking like he's gonna head back towards the Phendrana area here. Now, I was paying attention to Pan's side. Unfortunately, I didn't see whether or not Bash picked up his flamethrower. I don't see it marked, so maybe he skipped. He got valid flamethrower. Okay. Thank you, chat. All right, on Pan's side, we see, what is that, ice spreader? No, oh, looked kind of like an ice spreader, but it's a thermal visor instead. So yes, as Chad is pointing out, our boost ball is still technically out of logic at this point. So, but that at that point puts in frigate being in logic at this point. So that could be a thing. And yes, Pan did opt not to go to chapel at this point. So maybe making that gamble that with that thermal visor now putting frigate in logic, maybe just making a beeline towards frigate. Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. No wave beam yet. You're correct. In fact, Bash, speaking of wave beam, has located the vanilla wave. So sadly for Pan, that hurts. Because Gonna have to end up coming back here at some point to get that, while Bash is gonna be able to go right into the labs at this point, and head towards the backside of Phendrana if you want so desire. And chat kindly pointing out the memes today. Yes, it is still randomized. Yes, in our tournament settings, you can actually in Randomizer enable an option to make them not appear in their vanilla locations, but for our tournament we decided to leave it as a possibility for good measure, just to make it interesting. So yeah, depending on what Pan ends up going back for here and achieving making this play, could be a good thing, could be a really bad. Spider was in the vanilla boost location, also known as the Phendrana camp. Alright, Bash gonna go and see that thermal and grab that. Oh, well, actually, he won't be able to grab it, but he'll see it. He doesn't have his spider ball yet, so. But he'll know once he gets that spider ball that it will be in logic at that point as well, so. We'll see what he decides to do. Alright, Pan has arrived here in Chozo and is making their way towards the main plaza at this. Looking like they're going to try and make that play towards Dynamo, actually. And then potentially also do some furnace things as well. Alright, Bash picking up that spider ball. And we'll see if he goes back for that thermal at this. Oh, and Pan is climbing up to do Flagra. So Pan's going to be disappointed when he sees the two missiles there. And there's a Ridley shadow for us. And a Ridley in the sky. On Bash's side. Yeah, sadly, Pan is making the play towards Flagra to get some missiles at this point, and is going to be very disappointed by that. Probably was hoping that Wave was going to be on Flagra at this point, because knowing that super missiles are still required in order to get wild artifact location. So not having supers, probably realizing that that probably wouldn't be a possibility at this point for that to be Wave just yet. Given what's in logic and what's been given so far. But Bash did go back for that thermal, so he'll be he grabs that and now is heading towards the labs. So we'll probably see him go all the way through the labs and probably hit the backside of Phendrana at the same time, and we'll see what he... Well, we have a little bit of downtime here. If you haven't already done so, definitely check out these followers or these racers' streams here and give them a follow if you can, if you would. That would be fantastic. I'm sure they would appreciate it. And if you just joined recently, I am Migs. bringing you all the fantastic commentary here. And I'm joined by my friend Digglewrath here in the tracking booth, keeping me sane while I try to make heads or tails of what the runners are doing here. And a quick shout out, of course, to our friends at SpeedGaming for setting all this up. Really appreciate you guys hosting this for us, and of course, all you viewers we love you all. Wouldn't be SpeedGaming without. All right, BashPrime making his cleanup of some pirates there in the first room of the labs here, and we'll get into Research Lab Hydra here, which sadly we don't have the X-ray nor the super missiles here to get a glimpse at least what's inside this canister, so we're gonna have to just kind of blindly leave it behind. Oh, Bash getting bullied a little bit by the pirates and getting knocked down. But yes, there's an item here at the top, and oh man, getting bullied again. Rough. They really don't want him making his way towards that Metroid and seeing what's back there. Oops, spoiler! But yeah, Bash just passing up that item, sadly. Not going to be able to see what's there, or even open it up or do anything. Making his way, though, to the observatory. Meanwhile, Pan starting his fight with the ghosts, and we'll see how well he makes do with those. Missile at the top there of observatory, so we're gonna go ahead and leave that one behind. As you see there just now, what Bash is doing, this room normally has a bunch of pirates and it's cutscenes and just a long time waste here, basically. So Bash just kind of like walked slightly out of the door here and jumped up and backwards a little bit and kind of around the trigger that actually triggers the fight. So you can actually sneak your way right around that and not have to actually fight any of those. So control tower here has just a missile for Bash, so he'll grab that because he's already made the trip there anyways. But make his way down here towards Research Lab Aether. And Pan is probably severely disappointed right now, seeing a missile up here as well. But we'll see what the next play from Pan at this point will be. OMG, it's a Metroid. Whatever shall we do? Oh, we'll just do that. And everybody say hello to our friend Edward. And goodbye, Edward. Edward there helps us get into the labs. He breaks the glass. Not entirely sure where the name Edward kind of came from there. Pan is coming out the front entrance here of Flagra, having to do a couple bomb jumps to either get out. Could also use Boost Ball to gain enough speed to just push his way through the wall here, but is opting to do the bomb strategy. Alright, and on the Bash side, I believe there was nothing of importance there in the labs, so we're going ahead and skipping down here to the back side of Phendrana, where you normally pick up our gravity suit here, so we'll see what we got back. Yeah, Pan having just a little bit of trouble here with the bomb jump. I'm wondering if they just don't know that they can do a quick boost to get out of here. Not quick, but you just charge up your boost a whole bunch and it'll just let you kind of clip through the wall, but Bash sees nothing of importance in Gravity Chamber and is heading out. And Pan gets out. There we go. Nice job. First try. Easy. Alright, so Bash is going to kill off some pirates. And make his way up on some standable terrain and get up towards the top here of Phendrana's Edge. Sadly, we don't have Plasma Beam just yet. So we can't get what's behind door number 1 here. But we can get what's at the top here by doing a quick slope jump. And getting into the... And we find just a missile. Alright, we're going to get our dynamo check here from Pan's side. With that spider ball in hand, we'll see if this is going to pay off at all and hopefully keep him going. Oof, just a missile. Alright, Pan, what's your next play? Gotta pull a rabbit out of your hat real soon, I think. Alright, and on Bash's side here, it looks like we're skipping right past Frost Cave, so nothing of importance there either. And that means that the backside of Phendrana is pretty much worthless at this point. So it seems as also that all of the labs was kind of a bust as well, so sadly, hope maybe Pan will just opt not to go to labs and maybe catch up that way. The Pan is actually heading over towards the furnace at this point, so we'll get some new checks here as well. Bash runs into a missile here in Quarantine Monitor. And will we get a Thardis fight? We will not get a Thardis fight. Yes, overall, Phendrana has been pretty barren. I would agree with you on that. Thardis does take quite a long time, and with what Bash has right now, I'm sure he's kind of considering heading back towards where Pan is now, and doing some cleanup around here, and potentially, now that he does have logical access even into Frigate at this point, potentially heading through there as well. But might also put that off until he has those supers in hands, because Biohazard Containment having that... Oh! As we speak, there is our logical access to our boost ball. X-ray visor on BashPrime side. But as I was saying, he will probably put off the Biohazard Containment and Frigate checks here until he does have that supers in hand, unless it comes down to that those would be his last checks, I would assume. So yes, by logic here, it did require you to come through this way and not through Magmoor to get this X-ray visor, and then go back to get your boost ball at Route K. So very interesting there. Yes, and as Chad is pointing out, definitely worth sequence breaking as often as you can for those purposes. In most cases. Some cases that can actually set you behind because it'll set you on a different path that you normally wouldn't have gone. So it's a gamble, but a lot of the times those little sequence breaks like that can really set you ahead of your opponent at that point. Oh, yes, and thank you for that correction. You cannot get past Observatory without boost, that's correct. So you would have had to go get Wave Beam, exit Phendrana, come back through this way, with also along with your Spider Ball, and come back through Magmoor, the intended route to get to Workstation at this point. So BashPrime doing his checks of the plasma. Let's see if we get a vanilla plasma beam here. Or maybe a Phazon in there, locked behind plasma. On Pan's side, I believe, did all the checks in Hall of the Elders as well as Crossway I watched, and there were only missiles, sadly, and or energy tanks, so we're just gonna go ahead and see what Pan's next play here is. I'm guessing they pretty much only a few plays left, so, and that one being heading back towards Chapel of the Elders. So Bash is noping out of plasma processing. I'm assuming that wasn't plasma beam because he probably would have it at this point, and is heading towards mines. And confirmation from chat that there was 5 missiles in plasma processing. Thank you very much. Oh, so Bash was just grabbing, didn't have a power bomb heading in there, so he's gonna have to backtrack here a bit to grab a power bomb. But it's looking like he's just gonna nope out of going to mines at this point, because I think some of those had possible drops for that. So he's heading a different direction at this point. Chat wanting to place bets here on where supers are. And we're getting a call for supers on OP. Pan could potentially have forgotten about Chapel at this point. That is a possibility. You know, he did leave Phendrana right after grabbing those items that he did, thinking those were progressional at this point. So now looking potentially a little confused. Yes, definitely did not check it. Yes, definitely confused at this point, sadly. Oof. That's a rough feeling when you've left somewhere pretty much thinking you've checked somewhere, and sadly that's the one check you left behind. So Bash is actually heading towards, we're re-entering Chozo at this point. And we're going to probably see Bash head towards Tower of Light and clear out that real quick. And he gave us a quick look at what was behind the tree there, and that was a missile. Yeah, come on. Everybody feeds your energy to Pan to get him to head back over to Chapel at this point. Maybe we just have to chant Chapel, or I'm not sure. Pan needs a little help from us. Bash here doing a little bit of scan dashes and combat dashes to make his way up towards the Tower of Light here. Using the standable terrain as I'm grabbing that missile on the top here. Pan can't actually get into Frigate. I actually made the same mistake earlier, but he doesn't have Wave Beam, so that's what's actually preventing him at this point from progressing. But he is heading towards Phendrana again, so maybe realize that, oops, I might have forgotten something. And I believe Bash picks up main power bombs, because it looks like we got a significant increase of 4. So that is our main power bomb that Bash picks up down in the Temple of Lights, or I'm sorry, Temple Chamber. Or Tower Chamber, I should say. So that's nice. Get a little extra power bombs there for when we get down to Metroids and having to deal with other things in the mines. Definitely worth having that extra count of power bombs. Alright, and he's heading over towards the training chamber at this point. Meanwhile, Pan is definitely hitting up that Chapel of Elders and is going to be very disappointed when he realizes this is what he's left behind. But at this point, I'm pretty sure he totally understands that this is one of the only checks he has left anyways. So, kind of probably already feeling that sadness and disappointment. And on Bash's side, I don't believe we saw anything of importance there. And he's not fighting any ghosts right now, so we'll have to assume that there's definitely nothing in Training Chamber. And he looks like he's heading towards Dynamo, and Pan's unloading his frustration into the wave beam item itself. Yes, definitely Pangry. Alright, Bash picks up his missile from Dynamo there. And we're getting our Shigoth fight from Pan. Oh, and there's our wave beam finally, sadly for Pan, but we'll see what he does here. If he heads towards... If he makes the bold play of not doing labs at this point, which is probably unlikely, but if he does, that would definitely give him a little bit of time back from to catch up to Bash at this point. And it looks like Pan is definitely heading up to labs. Meanwhile, Bash is checking all the worthlessness that we have to offer over here in Chozo on the backside, where we have the Hall of Elders and Crossway. Bash demonstrating some nice standable terrain there as well. If you didn't notice that the last time on Pan's side, that you can just jump up here with this quick space jump and completely ignore the spider ball track there altogether. And do so even while you're watching the cutscene for waiting for the ghost. So nice to get that out of the way. Ooh, a little bit of a rough dash there from Pan, and gonna have to climb back up the room. And at this point, you know, can't really fault. Nerves are kind of frayed at this point, I'm sure, with having to backtrack that many times, or you know, that much to come back and get, you know, find that you've missed something like that. So, can definitely understand getting a little frustrated and missing some, you know, what might be considered otherwise, you know, simple dashes to yourself at least. All right, and Bash finishing up here at the Hall of Elders, and is going to do a bomb jump here, abusing the bomb timer to get up to the top, skipping the wave beam necessity to unlock the to normally get you up here. So couple really nice executed, by the way, but that actually has an opening up there that you can fit your morph ball right into, and you know, you can get up there and open the gate that's blocking your way and not have to do that. Oh my, let me interrupt myself here and point out that we have super missiles now. So now we have access to our biohazard containment one, which Bash is quickly heading toward. So that'll be our 5th artifact, and we know where our last one is, which is right past our friend Omega Pi. Alright, and Pan is making his way through the labs here, seeing the worthlessness so far that it has to offer at the top of Observatory. And Bash getting a little bit of bully there from the laying down pirate on the ground there. You got puns in chat. It definitely is a super convenient location for supers. It's super effective. Okay, I'm gonna stop. All right, Bash, as you saw when he entered there, he shot a charge shot down towards the ground. That wasn't just randomly letting go or anything. He actually shot directly down towards the first activatable, the thermal pathways that you need to activate and open the door with. He knows exactly where to fire for that, so that's pretty neat to watch somebody execute those pretty nicely. And meanwhile, Pan is making confrontation here with our first Metroid of the game and saying hello to Edward as he takes his demise. And yes, frigate music, very nice. Pan is seeing that ice spreader and gonna go ahead and grab it, it looks like. That is something that I believe Bash did not grab. And there's Bash picking up his 5th artifact. And Pan is still going down the unfortunate path of the emptiness, the sorrow, the disappointment that Phendrana has to offer. On Bash's side, doing some nice bomb jumps up there to grab the missile at the top of Hydra access tunnel here. And we're going to be coming through the intended way here to head up towards light. Yes, that is true. If Thardis does have our plasma and or phase on at this point, we do have a race. Granted, if plasma would be a lot closer than it would be if it were phase. And it looks like I just saw an energy tank on the side of BashPrime's there in the Great Tree Hall or whatever room I believe that is. And the worst room in the game here, Life Grove Tunnel. For those that don't know it, it is definitely the worst room in. Yeah, that's very true, actually. Diggle pointing out that when Bash was actually heading towards mines, he didn't have that power bomb he needed to get past there, which caused him directly to change his routing decisions completely and head back this way. So picking up his supers and getting that next artifact has definitely helped him out, I think. And Pan picking up the Wave Buster. So we'll probably see Pan have all the beam combos once he finds super. Alright, Bash heading down to mines at this point. So here's our first dip into mine. Supers were in the Vanilla Ice Beam location in Antechamber. The last artifact is in PCA, just past our good friend Omega Pirate. Alright, BashPrime jumping up there. As you can see, the pirates are very confused. They don't even know he's there. I think they might just be sleeping. I'm not sure what they're doing. They're just taking a break, maybe having a smoke. We don't know. They're just chilling though. And at the top we've got a missile. So nothing of any value really there. And Bash is going to enter from the front. And we'll get a probably a normal run through here of most of mines, as he's still looking for that plasma beam as well as the Phazon suit. And I believe I just saw a energy tank behind there, and he's going to prove me wrong and go ahead and hop back up here and probably do a quick dash to get up to the middle part of Phazon mines. Alright, and Pan, is he gonna do Thardis? Are we gonna see the mystical plasma beam on Thardis play here? We'll definitely get that quarantine monitor check, so don't get all excited seeing him head in this direction. Meanwhile, Bash showing off some nice tricks here, getting up and down the spider ball track that would be normally required to make all those turns and everything to get up using the vanilla method of spider ball tracks. So skipping all that just by using a quick grapple beam jump up there to And we are getting Thardis. This could be a big play, folks. This could be a huge play. Bash is trying to get a look at that item. I'm not sure if you can see that from there. I'll have to ask about that once he gets on for interview, if he decides to. So I'm not sure what everybody's favorite music type is, but mine personally is rock and roll. Oh, sadly, we're not going to see the plasma beam on Pan's side, but it still could be the Phazon suit, potentially. As we see on Bash's side, plasma beam is in elite research on the elite pirate. So that puts Bash one item away here from Go Mode. And now having direct access to Omega Pirate, we'll be able to get PCA. So he's very close to being in Go Fast. Meanwhile, we got Pan here doing some dancing with our friend Mr. Rock. Having a pretty good fight so far, overall, I would say. And on Bash's side, we got the sweet cutscene for activating these wave pirates because of this room is the first time you ever see actually the different colored pirates, which, you know, the ice wave and plasma pirates, arguably the worst pirates you'll ever face, especially if you don't have charge beam. And I didn't get a look at what was in the vanilla flamethrower location, but I'm assuming it wasn't of importance, as Bash is noping right out of there. And there's confirmation from Diggle, thank you very much, that it was just 5 missiles. Alright. The Phazon Dream on Thardis is still alive. And yes, I said that backwards. Oof. Alright, and Pan says, get rocked to Thardis. It was a rocky fight. Oh, there, the dream is dead for Pan there, as he picks up a power bomb expansion. Alright, so Bash, heading down to the bottom here of mines, with that plasma beam in hand, will most likely, I mean, at this point, most of the checks are already done that we know of. So our chances of seeing Phazon down here are much higher. than anywhere else. But either way, we're going to shortly see some manipulation of this little elite pirate AI, where if he doesn't actually look at you, which actually I take that back, he's not going to kill him at all. But if he was going to kill this elite pirate, you can stop his normal script by simply not letting him look at you and walking around him in circles. And you can simply do that indefinitely until you kill. We won't see that now, but we should see that shortly as Bash keeps making his way down. Look like a missile in there in ventilation shaft. And Pan here in workstation, gonna get the X-ray visor. Alright, and here's where we'll see that AI manipulation. Making quick work of that elite pirate. And here we are in Central Dynamo. We'll see what kind of maze we get and what is underneath the maze itself. And it is a phase-on suit. So that puts Bash in full-on go mode, and he's in the right direction and in the right area to get his final artifact and head down, back towards Ridley and finish off the game. So that puts Bash in a significant lead at this point, as unfortunately Pan did leave that wave behind early on, so that really set the race in the way that it is now. So all these randomizers, all it does is take one check. You skip one, or just forget it, or think you've checked it, or whatever it is, and that's all it takes. So sadly for Pan, unless Bash takes a death here, which could very well happen. He's very low on life. But with all three suits, he does have that 50% damage reduction, so it's still somewhat unlikely for Bash to take a death. Bash making his way through Metroid Quarantine A here. And Pan making a dip into Mines, which is on the right side here to get that plasma beam. As long as he can boost through the wall in Elite Research. It's amazing how quickly you see these runners that once they do finally get in go mode, you can see Bash, his execution just, I mean, he's been doing great, of course, up to this point, but, some of his execution just seems almost quite on point now that he knows he's in go mode. It's interesting to see their gameplay change slightly or dramatically depending on when they reach that go mode. Alright, on Pan's side, we're heading up the spider ball track there into the... I don't remember what this room is called exactly, but the room right before our grapple point here. And going to take that grapple beam up to the top And hopefully we'll see him head down towards the elite research area to get that plasma nice and early here, but we'll see what path he takes. Alright, looks like he's opting to head towards the front side first, which sadly we know isn't going to be where he wants to be. So it'll take a little bit longer to see that plasma beam on that. And thank you, chat. That is ore processing, where that spider ball track in the middle of the room. Alright, and our friend OP on Bash's side. Why is he standing there? That's kind of strange. I will tell you why he's standing there. Bash entered the room and did a boost ball right into the left side there. I'm not sure exactly what the right positioning is and why it works, but if you do it just right, he kind of just stands there like he just did and doesn't activate his first cycle just as he's supposed to. So gets him to get a couple of free hits in there and make that real quick work and getting him into the invisible phase here. Alright, looks like he's gonna possibly try for a 2-pool here. Or 2-cycle for that matter. Oh, no, wait. He's low on missile. Oh, and either way, there goes OP. And Bash is about to pick up his final artifact and beeline it for the artifact temple. Oh, for some reason I thought that a 2-pool was possible. Okay, well, thank you for correcting me. Again, chat keeping me sane here, appreciate it. On Pan's side, we've got some more wave troopers getting destroyed. And looks like he's going to head towards elite research at this point. And pick up that plasma beam. Alright, Bash does pick up that final artifact. And we'll see a nice climb out of here. Using some standable terrain along this, these I don't know what you call these along the wall here, but either way, he's standing on them and just jumping his way up. All right, Pan. About to take down our friend here in Elite Research and pick up that plasma. Wondering if at this point Pan's seeing that and wondering probably why Bash hasn't yet quite finished off, judging by the way the seed kind of led him around. So, but we know that Bash took a couple extra steps as well, doing early while and whatnot too. Right in, BashPrime beelining it straight for that artifact temple. It is go, go, go mode. We need to go kill us a meta Ridley. Nice little R jump there to skip over the entirety of that lava as well. couple of things, because the fight's actually going to be pretty quick, I'm sure, on Bash's side. As we get into there, Ridley's starts out in the air and kind of flies around and does some things and shoots at you and all this. And then he does these flyby phases. It is possible to actually skip the flyby phase. We'll see if Bash can pull that off. It's a frame-perfect trick that you have to shoot him in order to kind of cancel his animation, which puts him into that flyby mode. But then once he lands on the ground and kind of starts giving you trouble and hitting you, meleeing, and shooting still some more, he is vulnerable to the boost ball, strangely. For some reason, the testers just felt like boost ball wasn't a thing in Ridley. Maybe they thought you didn't have it at that point, even though you needed it to complete the game. I'm not sure. But more accurately, boost ball does 50,000 damage per frame, and the game runs at 60 frames per second. So that equates to 30 million damage inside of your 1 second frame there. So, but he caps out. It doesn't let you fully kill him, of course. So caps out to the next phase basically, and then he starts his ground phase, which he starts doing dashing. Alright, and Pan's side is also going to skip this fight by doing standing on his head and jumping. And Bash did not get the flyby skip, so we're seeing Ridley do some flybys. And a quick boost into his belly, and he's instantly lost probably about half, if not a little more, of his life. And Ridley so far being very cooperative. Bash doing a nice little 360 there. Oh, what a nice snipe. That was a really nice snipe and a very, very clean fight from Bash on taking Ridley down there. And the snipe I pointed out was he does actually open his mouth very slightly on the right side as he goes to start his dash, and if you can time it just right, as you saw Bash just do there, you can actually interrupt him from dashing and get him to open up his vulnerable spot and do more damage to him. So Pan gonna start his maze and get that Phazon suit here, and we'll see what kind of maze he gets. This maze is actually fully random on even, it's not even per the seed, it's per the random of the game itself. So looks like the one he got is kind of poor. Not as lucky as what Bash got. Alright, Pan picks up his Phazon suit, and we'll be heading towards OP. We know where supers are. Not sure how his routing's going to take him there at this point. We'll see what path he decides to take. And Bash, about to start our Exo fight with Metroid Prime. So in this fight, there are 4 phases and 4 sub-chambers. The first phase here begins with the first two beams that he's vulnerable to, or it is vulnerable to, I should say. And that would be the power beam and the wave beam. So the first phase, he can use his charged up super missiles to do damage. And the second phase, he's just going to sit here and abuse a little bit of mechanics to get him to keep swiping. And I keep saying him. Forgive me for that. Metroid Prime. I know you're in it. It's okay. But a little bit of mechanics there to kind of keep him swiping and make sure that he doesn't actually spawn any of his little balls of energy that he tosses at you, as those are kind of they're just pain points, and it helps just kind of keep him steady where you can aim your shots better. But here we are in Phase 2, and Phase 2 adds in the Ice Beam into the equation. And Bash setting up to do a snipe. Ooh, just misses it. A snipe there would have... he follows up with an ice to make the next phase go a little bit quicker at that point. Or even completely skip it, depending on if you have Ice Spreader at that point. Alright, and Phase 3 adds in the Plasma Beam to the mix. And again, these can happen in any order. They don't happen in any specific order, although it seems like it's been somewhat consistent. It added Ice and played that one first, and then we had Plasma here for first ones. And on to Wave. And Power. And again, another quick potential snipe here. Nope. Just those charge shot. Didn't use a super missile but that will actually finish that phase before it even starts. And down to Subchamber 4. So, in Subchamber 4, it's all the same things here, except for an added bonus. The fact that Metroid Prime, as you just saw, can change colors at any time it so desires. And also, on top of that, it has a turbo mode that it can randomly activate as well, so where it moves basically at about twice the speed, if not a little faster. Another good snipe there. The Ice Beam actually does quite a bit of damage, so it's a good snipe to get. Oh, I think that was a flamethrower shot, potentially. I couldn't really tell. It kind of looked like it, but then maybe not. Alright, another good snipe from the ice there, and we're on our last little bit of health here. And Pan, I believe, is memeing potentially here, getting the item that's in our plasma, or Phazon mining tunnel. Which is just an energy tank. Alright, and we're on to the essence fight here of on Bash's side with Metroid Prime. As you see, he's doing his major movements here, which by major movements I mean not at all, to manipulate the boss to actually spawn the pool a little bit earlier than it normally would. And now we'll see Bash do a... you can see he's attacking very slowly, whereas normally when you stand in these pools, you can just, as long as you have Charge Beam, you can hold A and just spam all your shots. Well, the pools are actually on timers, and the fight is actually on a script as well. So if you do it right, you can cancel all of Metroid Prime's attacks and cause the pool to be spawned quicker at that point. So you'll see him attacking in a certain pattern here to completely skip all the attacks that Metroid Prime normally does and start the next pool to be spawned. And on this one you'll see... Oh, maybe. Alright, yeah, now he's walking in and out of the pool. What that does also, again, as I pointed out, the pool is on a timer. And it runs out after a certain time. And down goes Metroid Prime. With BashPrime finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 54 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for BashPrime as he takes the win on this one. And we'll see if we can get Bash in here for an interview shortly. But yes, at the end there, as I was explaining, the pool timer will go, actually doesn't go down if you step in and out of the pool in the way that Bash was doing there at the end. So that actually gives you more damage from the same pool. So yes, that was a very, very clean Ridley and a very, very clean Metroid Prime Exo and Essence from Bash there. Very well.
What's up?
Hey, there's Bash. Welcome, Bash.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I've kind of some mixed feelings about my mid game, but other than that, it was pretty solid.
Yeah, so the major difference here that really set you kind of ahead, that was that Pan unfortunately kind of skipped out on doing Chapel of the Elder altogether. I don't know if he just didn't realize that, that he didn't get it, but yeah, sadly had to backtrack all the way back to get Wave again, and then do Labs, which was completely worthless. And then,
I was wondering if
went down
that
the
was
same
going to
path.
be a. Sorry, I interrupted.
No problem, you're good.
Yeah, that chapel was weird. I was like, okay, well, I'm running out of wave checks, so pretty sure I'm gonna check this in case it's vanilla, and it happened to be vanilla. So that was kind of interesting. The C dish stressed me out because I was like, okay, this gives Pan really good opportunities to gamble on X-Ray and Supers. Just because of those two artifact locations. So I guess it was super fortunate that I ended up finding Supers when I did. It wouldn't have made too much of a difference if I had... So the reason I went back to Chozo is because I decided, you know what, I don't want to waste time getting power bombs because I was out. And I didn't check... I wasn't managing my power bomb ammunition.
Yeah, I believe at that time you only had one because you hadn't yet gone back to get the main power bomb expansion.
Yeah, I never found main power bombs because they were in Chozo.
Right. So yeah, we noticed that right away. We were like, oh, you're going towards mines, and oh, we don't have a power bomb, so you just completely turned around, head the other direction, and it actually worked out.
I mean, it wouldn't have made too much. I think I actually would have slowed down, or I would have been faster had I gone to mine. I think what would have happened was I would have probably ducked to lower mines just to be like, okay, well, I have plasma, so I can get that artifact. But then probably done my checks the same way. So maybe it wouldn't have made too much of a difference.
Hello?
And we are
Hey, what's
joined
up,
by
Pan?
Pan.
What's up? I could have won, maybe, but I did.
This seed gave you a really good opportunity to make gambles.
Yeah.
So you could have won up by a handful.
I went to Phendrana early, but I made the foolish mistake of not checking,
Oh, you didn't check Chapel? Oh, man.
Nah. So.
Yeah, we were wondering if you just forgot about it, because we noticed you went back to the ship.
I was like,
well,
there's like a 1% chance that Wave Beam is like actually here, or like I just lose a minute, so like a minute and a half. But it was that 1% chance. So what are you gonna do?
I was running out of wave checks anyways. I had like I think 2 possible checks left. So I was like, you know what, I need to check this.
I was literally on my last one, so.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a little bit of time, but it's really not that bad. You just look in the room and then see if it's there.
Yeah.
I was concerned if Phase on 2 ended up being in plasma processing. It ended up not being there. So,
Right. It was that plasma. Excuse me. Phazon wasn't a good location. Where was
yeah, I got a
Supers,
little
though?
bit stressed out because I done all my upper mines checks, which was good because I got plasma.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, well, I could check, processing center right now, or I could just go duck it to lower mines. But I checked pretty much every other location on the way. I decided to go to the storage depot A just in case it had something or it had phase on. Yeah, supers ended up being an antechamber where ice beam is.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, I was not expecting them to be there.
Okay. So I went and after getting wave beam, I went through labs and did far Phendrana as well because I had
Yep, that's
gravity,
exactly what I did.
So, and then I went immediately to mines.
Well, I got my spider ball and then I just ducked back to get thermal, and then I did my lab check.
The thing that I was kind of excited about at like the very beginning was like I went back. I made a pretty good choice to go back right after getting what was it I got? I got Morph Ball, and then I went right back to Talon to get Space Jump and see what else was in what's it called? Root Cave. And Boost Ball was up there, so I was
I did that check early too. As soon as I got Space Jump, I'm like, you know what? I'm checking Root Cave because I have,
yeah,
so it's easy for me to get this.
right.
And then Boost happened to be there. I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I hadn't really thought about what Boost locked per se, or what could have locked Boost. But I mean, at that point, well, no, because I haven't really made any like Boost lock checks really. Like the one thing that could have been faster is if I had decided to duck into I didn't pay attention to why I had Ice Beam early. And I could have gone supers like super early, and I decided after doing Burn Dome check and everything, and I did the Furnace Tunnel, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to focus on finding Wave Beam.
Yeah, well, technically, I mean, it's not in logic for...
Yeah, because you need Wave Beam for it, and Spider. I'm like, well, I don't have any of these items.
Yeah, and like...
Even though it's worth doing it, I'd rather find Wave Beam. I'd rather look for Wave Beam.
Yeah. Like, I can't even do the Hall of the Elders HP day. I should learn it. But
so I could have probably saved a little bit more time there, but I mean, it wouldn't have been a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, overall, you guys had fairly similar routing decisions, or, once you found the items that you did, but it just, the thing that really obviously set it apart was Pan, unfortunately, passing up the wave beam.
Yeah, I got a little stressed out because I stuck around in Chozo as long as I did, and I'm like, well, there could be stuff here because I'm looking for wave beam, and it could be anywhere at this point, like with these early checks. I wasn't sure how well-weighted Chozo was going to be because I found Varia, but...
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in Chozo. Especially
not to mention I didn't route things the best either, so like I got my Power Bomb expansion first, which was dumb. I could have just gotten Morph Ball and then gone back.
Yeah, and speaking of that Boost Ball, where it was and everything, it actually expected you to go all the way to Phendrana to get the Spider Ball.
To get your ball.
I was thinking
and the
about
wave.
that. I was like, man.
And then it expected you to do something gravity suit related, I think, right? So
No, it required you to get wave beam so that you could go back through the normal way of Magmoor to get to the Magmoor workstation.
That's what threw me the most, was getting gravity that early. I was very confused as to what the seed wanted me to do.
Yeah, with the artifact being in biohazard containment, it was rough to see the gravity be so early at that.
Yeah, and you never want to see PCA.
I was secretly hoping Frigate was going to be more weighted. Well, actually, that would have scared me if it was, because I'm like, well, Pan could have just done Frigate as soon as he found gravity. So, but yeah, mines again. I'm not necessarily like upset that I put off mines, but I don't know. Like I was gonna go to mines earlier and then power bombs. I'm like, you know what? Let's do my Chozo checks just in case Dynamo is something, just in case
I was really
Hall of the Elders is something.
By the time I fought Thardis too, like just in case that like super.
Yeah, I skipped out on Thardis because I had so many checks available.
Yeah, you may like the point in time that I found like wave beam at was like, all right, I need to start like making gambles in order to like make up time here.
Yeah, I get gambling on Thardis. I don't know if it's necessarily the best one, just because at that point you have like all these items. You can go to mines, you can go into frigate. You can go all everywhere. Late Chozo. So it's just such a small chance that it could be there. Now again, it's possible. It's always possible. You never know.
Yeah, it was.
Those are the
actually
worst.
it was actually during that fight that you had picked up plasma at that point. So we were chat and everybody was kind of just rooting for Pan to actually pick up the plasma there because that would actually put him back in a good lead position, in a position to catch up.
You had one SRL race like last month that had it there, and it was just the worst.
Yeah, I think I was there for that.
Well, it was kind of leading me in that direction. I'm like, you know what? Like, I have thermal, I have supers, I have wave. I don't think I had ice beam at that point. I'm like, all right, okay, all right. And I don't remember if I ended up knowing where ice beam was in that seed or not, but yeah. What else? Yeah, finding that. I will say that finding that space jump as early as I did or the fact that it was so available, was a breath of fresh air considering where it was in my race against Link. Oh. That was stressful stuff. So I'm glad I didn't choke like super hard.
Yeah.
I made a couple of routing errors, but
that was definitely like a chokeable seed too.
But I was like, my thought process starting after I got plasma was, okay, I'm just gonna get my artifact, get those out of the way, and then if I still don't find plasma, then I would go into the Phendrana, potentially do Thardus, depending on if I found something behind supers or in storage cave for Phazon suit. But it ended up being in Central Dynamo. So
yep, absolutely.
Those supers though.
Oh, I was going to say one quick question. You were in Elite Research, coming from the backside, and you were using your the X-ray visor, trying to see the item behind there. Is that possible to see there? Because I couldn't see it, of course.
Yeah, I barely saw it.
Okay.
I think it disappears out of view if you're like too far away or something.
Okay, yeah, I just had a question when you saw that, and I'm like, I don't know if it's actually possible to see.
Yeah, no, they were missiles, so I figured it out. It's a little tough to see it. It's a little easier with like progressive scan, which I have, so.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's not that big of a difference. Like, honestly, it might just be faster just boosting through using the laser turret. But yeah, it's definitely not the first time I found plasma on Phazon Elite, and it's not that it upsets me. It's just it's.
I feel like it's always it's so often in Elite Research. It's crazy.
It used to be in earlier versions where I'd often find it in processing or no, sorry, Elite Control Access. But yeah, I mean, Plasma Mines makes. I mean, it's a lot of locations unless you get Plasma early to unlock wave or something behind ice. Then yeah, I mean, it makes mines a lot more valuable. I feel.
I like getting Plasma early because like Plasma and Phazon are like the two items that can just really be anywhere because there's so little that they actually check for. Actually, I guess there's a fair amount that Plasma unlocks, but
yeah, I hope chat had a good reaction when they saw that processing center access and biohazard. Yep. I was just okay, like whatever.
Yeah, we knew we were gonna be in for.
I got the 4 artifacts like real quick, and I was like,
it was 2 main plaza. I'm like, okay, well,
one of them's gonna be like a really fast seed, and then I was like, all right, biohazard containment kind of sucks, and processing center access.
I saw main plaza twice, and I'm like, okay, well, one was gonna be behind the tree, and then they weren't. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, that was nice.
Especially since I knew where Space Jump was, so you got grapple super early too because of Artifact Temple, so that wouldn't have artifact was those 2 artifacts were free pretty much, and then Watery Hall was interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, seeing those first 3, and then all of a sudden, okay, well, biohazard containment. Oh, okay, that's a little rough. And then PCA. Okay, well, we're in for a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, I still finished in a little over an hour and a half, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, definitely. There were definitely some clean fights at the end there too. Wow.
Yeah, Exo could have gone better. I got better at the snipes in like Exo Chambers 3 and 4, but I mean that's just that. I think I'm just a little bit out of practice on Exo.
Yeah, but I don't think I have any further questions for you guys. You guys have anything else you want to kind of talk about before?
Top 8's happening soon.
I may or may not be in it.
I'm still. I feel that format still. I want to ask the top 8 what they want in terms of single limb versus double limb, and then like best of one versus best. I feel like it's worth having their input on that.
Yeah, I was.
That's why I didn't have it. That's why I haven't had it set in stone this whole time, because I wanted to kind of wait until we finish the Swiss.
Yep.
But yeah, this top 8's really interesting. I mean, I can't say I had any expectations for who would be in it, but I will say I'm not surprised that Link's, assuming he wins, I would not be surprised or I wasn't at all surprised that he's basically going to be seed 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find out in a couple days.
I was between you
Yeah.
and him.
He's playing what, Super Bros, so that'll be interesting.
No,
he already
he's
played
playing
Super
me.
Bros. Oh yeah, that's right, it's you. You versus.
Yep.
So
I'm
it can
gonna
happen.
need it.
That's what I said.
You're 4-1 right now, right, Migs?
That's correct. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. All right, guys. Well,
Yeah,
good,
thank you
good
for your
race.
time. Follow the trackers, commentators.
Yeah, absolutely.
Follow Pan
Good.
because he's a solid runner just overall.
Thank you.
Made huge improvements in the rando. I know you were having trouble routing at first, and
Mhm.
you know it's not. And this wasn't even like any fault of your own. Just supers were in a bad location.
Right. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's
Yeah.
half of its luck. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you put in the work needed, and look, you're 4-2. So
hey,
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for running.
Thank
That was a great show. Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you,
everybody.
Dig, for tracking.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for the assistance that we get on these and setting everything up with us. And obviously, thank you all the viewers for watching. We appreciate all you guys. If you guys are very interested, definitely check out the Discord if you haven't already. And definitely follow all the runners and the commentators and trackers and everybody that gets involved in these. Everybody puts on a great show. Really appreciate it.
Also, Netgo's rando.
And yes,
Also,
there is an
Both
Echoes
Prime
Rando.
games.
So if you're interested in Prime 2, that also exists as well.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again for your time. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Good luck on Wednesday.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, and
Have
that's
a
going
good
to
one.
wrap us up. Yep, that is going to wrap us up. So thank you guys again, and have a good one.